Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we are building in Moonwood Mill, which is a first for me, especially on the channel. I don't think I've ever built here. No, that's not true. I did build a home here, but I didn't make a video for it because at the time I was sick, which is funny because at the time of me recording this voiceover, I am in fact also sick. It is just the time of year, I guess. I always get some kind of bad cold, or my kids do, and then they give it to me. But today we're building for a werewolf because I thought it would be fitting to do a spooky build for this time of year. And normally I do like a spooky home for a witch or a spellcaster, and I thought might as well just like use the opportunity to build for a werewolf. So that is why we are here today. This does end up counting as a tiny home, but because I use like roof tiles or like ceiling tiles to close in and be able to paint the ceiling tiles, it only has, it's like whatever the highest number of tiles is, whatever that kind of tiny home, a small home. Technically it's a small home, and it ends up being just one bedroom and 0 bath because when I moved in my playtester sim, who I got off the gallery, and I'll put up her name at the end towards the live mode footage because you'll see her there, I picked out some traits for her that she had points for, and she's able to mark her territory. So basically she can go to the bathroom anywhere. And also she's a self-grooming werewolf. So wasn't too big of a deal if she did not have a full bathroom. However, if you did want to, you could totally build a separate little like outhouse hut somewhere here, or even take up a little bit more of the upstairs and build a little bathroom if you decided to maybe cure your sim of the werewolfism, or if they have guests over who might need to use a bathroom. That would also be a thought, but I decided to just go full blown. This is only for her. She's kind of a loner and she just does her own thing. So that is where the inspiration came. And you'll see here, I have made the shell, used a lot of werewolf stuff, a little bit of cottage living so far as well, and I'm working on figuring out where everything is going to go. So she does have a pretty sizable kitchen considering she's a werewolf, and she'll probably just end up eating like meat. She won't really need to cook, but I thought she still likes to cook, and maybe she enjoys, experimenting with cuisine, even though she doesn't necessarily need to. So she has a very cute little kitchen. I use the fridge from Cottage Living, and the countertops are from Horse Ranch. And I think the stove is also from Cottage Living. And I just kind of make a cute little kitchen nook over here in this green tone. I thought it looked really, really nice. I was very satisfied with the size of it. Now you'll see where the stairs are. They kind of, so they go upstairs, but then there's no room to walk. So you'll see later I realize my mistake and I have to redo the stairs. But for now, just ignore the stairs. Let's just focus on the kitchen. So we have the sink. The sink is also from Horse Ranch, and I think that it goes really well if you just kind of scooch it in to the countertops. It just kind of looks like a little built-in sink almost. And I really wanted to use this window from Werewolves, but I didn't like how it was just like this short kind of rectangle. It just didn't look quite right. So instead I went with these windows from Jungle Adventure. They're more of an open air window still, but I think they look really cute. And then for the cabinets I used from Horse Ranch, I just sized them down one, and then I just alt placed them to kind of piece them together and make a cute little upper cabinet situation over here. And I think that over here with this corner cabinet, I end up getting rid of that, and instead I just do a normal cabinet piece and just kind of scooch it together with itself. And then I got rid of the upper cabinets above the stove because I wanted to add a range hood, and that's where that goes. That's from Cottage Living. Full disclosure, when I was playtesting this, not every time, but every so often when I try to get my sim to cook, she would say that the range hood was in the way. And then other times it would be totally fine. So I don't know if it's because of whatever she was cooking specifically that the range hood was in the way, but just keep that in mind. That might happen. I had to like move the range hood every now and again. So if you had to, you could totally just get rid of that. I just thought it really completed the look of the home and I didn't want to get rid of it necessarily. Also, I hang up these pots here from Horse Ranch and I just size them down slightly with the tool mod. And then I just kind of scooch them into like the window frame here to make it look like it's all kind of built in. And that's pretty much it for the kitchen besides the light that I'm adding here. And then I think for the walls, I just use this Horse Ranch, like the siding, the wood siding. And then the brick is from Werewolves, and I just continue that in from the outside because that little doorway has the same brick on the outside. And I thought that if I just continued it in like it's part of the build, that is my thought. And some utensils also from Horse Ranch, and then I pull out some like cute little clutter pieces from Werewolves, like that little book with the ink dabber thing there, and then that little mushroom jewelry box or music box, whatever. I end up putting that on top of the fridge later. Those pots and pans, again, they were giving me trouble when I went to cook, so I do end up moving them over onto the counter, I believe. So here you'll see them on the stove, but when I went to do play testing, I did move them over onto a countertop because they were in the way. And those little dog treats you saw very quickly under the corner cabinet or the corner countertop piece, they end up disappearing every time I reloaded into the lot. So that's something I just ended up getting rid of. And it's unfortunate because I thought it was kind of funny to have dog treats, maybe because they're her snacks. But anyway, we're moving over to the little tiny living room space. I give her this little chair from high school years. I thought it was very cute and looked comfy, but like low maintenance. So if she did tend to, if she raged out, that if she shredded it, she could easily replace it and it wouldn't cost her too much money. And then this door here is from Strangerville. I put that over here in the corner and just kind of scooch it over. I think I may turn it around a little. There it is, right around there. And then I just scooch that chair a little bit closer, trying to figure out where our TV is going to go. I use this one from the Basement Treasures kit. And then there's that little mushroom music box thing. It's going to go on top of the fridge. Now, surprisingly, that did not disappear when I would go to reload back into the lot. But I don't know. I also thought about using this chair from Horse Ranch because it's really pretty with the like the cloth draped over it. But I didn't think it quite fit. I thought maybe it looked a little bit too shabby. And I wanted it to be more like relaxed. It was like, I don't know. I just didn't like the way that it looked. So I did change my mind on that chair. And this is where, before I figured out that the steps were going to be completely unusable to get upstairs, I put the little dining table here in the corner. I don't know if it would even work to leave it like this. I'm pretty sure your sim would not be able to get in there, but it was just a thought that I had. This is just my process. Just kind of trying to see where things might fit before I get a sim in here to really play test it. And then I'm making the back porch pretty much the same as the front porch as far as like the flooring and the railing and the steps. And I think that it comes together really cute. It's just enough room basically to get outside. And this desk is also from Werewolves. I think it's really pretty. And I use this kind of keyboard or the little typewriter computer looking thing on the desk. And then I think I just add some wall art down here. I think I use the one that looks like newspapers with the werewolf face drawn on it. And I put it on that far wall there. And it's really cute. I really like it. I really wanted to use that big moon mirror, or I couldn't find a good spot for it. So I did not end up using it, but I did use this really cool, like ripped up looking rug, and I just kind of all placed it to look like it was, it just slides around on the floor. And for the ceiling light here, I just used the single light bulb from the Laundry Day pack, and I think it's really cute. I think it looks really nice. And then over here I decide to add a little rug under the computer desk, so I just use this one from Realm of Magic, just 2 corner pieces, and put them together, and that's pretty much it. And adding a window, and I think that the curtains I end up using are from Spooky Day for the small windows, so you'll see those pop up pretty soon. I did this a few days ago before I got whatever this awful cold is, so I'm having a hard time remembering where things are. If you don't I'm sorry if I seem a little lost, because I'm very lost. I feel really, really, really crappy, but it's okay. This is this is what we deal with on a day-to-day basis with children. So there's those ripped up curtains from Spooky Day, and I placed them. I tried to place them in a way that they weren't cutting in with the desk, and they made sense. So I had to kind of move the desk over a little bit, and then I put the same curtain over here. I did the same kind of trying to figure out where it's going to go. So I had to move the window out of the way first, and then I put the window up. And here you will see my conundrum with the stairs being the way they are. So I have to get rid of those, which is actually fine because it makes more room in the downstairs. And I can add one more chair to the dining table, which I thought was quite nice. And then I just moved the window over, and instead I place a nice kind of industrial looking ladder to get upstairs here. So, you know, what are you gonna do? Hopefully your werewolf doesn't mind climbing stairs, or climbing a ladder instead of stairs. And here is her bedroom that we're gonna start working on pretty soon. I pull out this werewolf bed, obviously, to go with the theme here. And I was trying to pick a nice one, like one that looked pretty, but not, you know, too girly, because I think that our sim is very, I don't know, she's very comfortable. She's very comfortable with herself, and she doesn't have to be overly girly, but she also likes to decorate, and she likes to be as put together as she can. And I think that she tries really hard to contain herself and not wolf out and freak out as much. She tries to be very mindful. That's why she likes to live by herself, so that she is not made angry by just people and other sims, and she's very like zen within herself. That was my thought. And she also enjoys gardening, and she likes cooking, and, you know, maybe she's thinking about having a little furry friend, maybe a little dog that she can have, you know, hopping around and just keep her company so that she doesn't get lonely, but can still be, you know, just herself. She just likes being herself. She's very secure with herself. And here is her lovely curtains I picked out. Those are from Paranormal Stuff Pack. I think I end up changing the swatch on them once I change the wallpaper in here to this wood, just on this just on these two walls. I wanted it to look very rustic up here, so I think these curtains look really nice. They just add a little pop of color, but they're not too crazy. And I like the beads in front of the windows because it adds just a small bit more privacy. And then I use this rug here from the Book Nook kit because it looks very comfy, but also very casual and not too, you know, not too fancy. And then I think what I did was I added this broken mirror from Werewolves as well. I put it over here in the corner, so when she's getting ready to go down the ladder, she can see what she looks like before she heads downstairs. And then I think the only other thing I add in here, other than the one more curtain, is I add like a werewolf poster and some scratches on the wall. And my thought is that she put up this poster to kind of hide the one scratch as well as she could, because, you know, accidents happen when you happen to be a werewolf. But I also thought these decals, these moth decals, were really, really pretty. So I put two moths over here. They're really cool. Now the top one sometimes disappears, and other times I load into the lot and it's there. So if you get in there and the bottom moth decal is not there, my apologies. I don't know why that is. It happens sometimes. I keep trying to load into the lot, and sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. It just depends on what my game decides it wants to do. Also, this lovely little bug wall light from Realm of Magic I thought was very fitting, and then I put in this, it's more like a kid's nightlight, but I just thought it was really pretty. Maybe it's hers from when she was a kid, so I put that up in her room too. And then adding some trim down here to the lower level and changing up the roof tile swatch to this like mossy one with the green. It's like brown with some green moss, and then the top roof piece has like those skylights and the holes in the tin roof, and I thought that was just very, very werewolf of her to have in her home. And then I decided to start on some landscaping. So mostly debug. I actually think it's like all debug. It's all debug and live edit, but lots of vines and some trees and lots of like bushes and wildflower overgrowth. It's just very simple, but very pretty. And I wanted it to look like she enjoys it being kind of secluded and out of the way and unassuming, so that people think maybe it's abandoned, maybe it's not. And that way she gets left alone for the most part, because she doesn't want a whole lot of other sim interaction, because, you know, like I said, she tries to contain herself, and she finds that when she's around a lot more sims, it makes her more anxious, and she gets nervous that she's going to freak out, and then, well, inevitably it does, because she manifests it herself. So she just keeps to herself. But I think that this home is just really, really perfect for like a single werewolf sim, it could be a guy that lives here too. You could totally change up whatever color scheme you want. It could go either way. And I think it's really, really nice. I use these low-lying flowers to kind of go under the home just a little bit, because it is on stilts for the most part. And then this lovely bush of whatever that is, it's so pretty. I love the texture on that. For a live edit plant, it's very nice. And I think this whole front part really came together pretty easily. At first I used this horse ranch overgrown, like long tall grass, but I think I decided to replace it with this bunch of wildflowers with some tall grass pieces instead. So you'll see that change pretty soon. And then I just wanted to add a couple more pieces of grass, so they're here kind of under where the steps are. Here's the wildflowers I picked out, so I got rid of that tall grass piece and instead used these wildflowers. I think it looks so nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the basic landscaping. I just threw in some more plants. I like this yellow flower bush, and then also these little, I don't know what you want to call those. I guess they kind of just look like yellow tulips almost, but they're really pretty. They're from Growing Together Debug, and they're very nice as well. And then I also added that air conditioner unit to the side of the wall just to kind of fill in some more space. And then this electrical box is from City Living. And I think when you're in City Living, it can be like decorated with posters and such, but I just put it in the back here to be like, that's her little off the grid power supply. Like that's her little power supply out here in the middle of nowhere. And then I also add like a little pile of dirt from Cottage Living Debug to go underneath that, so it looks like, maybe that's like a secret little spot for her to, when she's behind her house, maybe she prefers to just kind of hide back there, maybe dig in the dirt, dig a little spot to sleep, because you can also take a werewolf nap, which is very cute, and they can just sleep wherever they want on the ground. Maybe she likes to sleep right there in the corner next to her electrical box and her flowers. Why not? Here I am trying to figure out some more roofing situation, because I did extend the roof over the porch just a little bit, and that's when I realized I could extend the main piece all the way down, and it blends in very nicely. I really like this roof swatch. I've actually used it a few times in my cottages that I build in Henford-on-Bagley, and I think it works out really nice. It can look either spooky or just like it's been out in the elements. It doesn't have to be creepy, but in this case I definitely wanted it to look creepy. And then I just add this other light out here to match the front one from Cottage Living, and I think that's pretty much it for back here. Oh, I might add a little flower arrangement as well, and the little werewolf gnome that should be coming pretty soon. Here, there it is, that little werewolf gnome. I just think he's so funny. I love it. And then the little stump sundial, I put that out in her yard as well. And here's that lovely little flower arrangement. I put it right here, and I just kind of like all place it so that it looks nice, and then the gnome right next to it. And I changed the swatch so it's a little brighter, just because thought we could use a little more color. There's also this little tire seat out here in the corner, and then I added some roof decoration. So that little like chimney stack, I assume that's where her stove, her range hood, lets out the smoke up there if she's cooking. And then we are working on some outside activities. So here is a telescope for her to do some moon gazing or stargazing, and also some planter boxes from Werewolves. I think I gave her 3, and then I ended up having her buy some seed packets. So she has like garlic, and I think valerian root, and I forget what else. Just some flowers, I think. I have her plant a couple. So when you see the live mode shot, you'll see her in her garden, but she did plant some lovely plants in her garden boxes, and they'll be here when you download the home. So it's very nice. And I also love those window boxes, and I have not used them yet in any build, so I was happy to use those here. Just adding a little bit more vinage to the outside of the house over here to hide the fact that those windows are not even, but they didn't look right when they were even from the inside of the house, and I figured that's where you're going to be spending most of your time anyway, so no big deal. And then coming back over here, I knew I wanted to add like a nice big pine tree right here in the front, but I didn't want one so huge that it like blocked the view when you were playing, although they will disappear, because when you zoom in close enough they'll disappear because they're debug. So I just chose this one single tree here in the front, and then in the back I add this little bunch of trees right here, as like a little bit more cover. And then also there's the werewolf bush that you can either fertilize or, you know, have a little bit of wolf woohoo back there. Why not? And then I think the only other thing I add over here is a werewolf punching bag and a dining table for outside, which you will see very shortly. But first we're going to work on some terrain paint. I wanted to really blend this in, make it look kind of, you know, like put dirt where there's supposed to be dirt, maybe just a little bit of mud underneath the garden boxes, and also just a little path from the front door to like the front of the lot, and then also around this garden bed here to the back door. And then I just overlay it with some more of this pine duff, which is the terrain paint that got added to base game right before Werewolves released. And I actually use that quite often. I like how it looks like dirt with a little bit of like tree stuff mixed in. I think it's very realistic. And then I think eventually after we finish this with the terrain paint, we get to the mailbox. I add this one obviously from Werewolves. It's so cute. I really like it. And then I was thinking about using the garbage can from Werewolves, but I use this one from High School Years instead. Now you'll see me placing the punching bag, and yes, the sim can get to that just fine. And also the dining table will be going in very shortly. So we'll see that. And also the dining chairs. I use this one, I think, in like the white kind of chipped paint, and then also the greenish tone of the chairs. And it's, I don't know, I just think it's really cool looking. And here I realize there's no books in here for her to, you know, to read up on some werewolf lore, and I thought maybe she would enjoy that. So I actually used this one from Basement Treasures Kit, and I just took some books and rose them up onto this shelf right here. And she was able to get a book out of that, no problem. I just used Tool Mod to kind of lower it down a little bit because it was kind of floating. And then I added a little bit more clutter here, just one candle there on the little side shelf. And then I put this beautiful little fairy flower pot thing on the bottom. And I rose that up just a little bit too with the Tool Mod, so it wasn't like completely sunken down into the bookshelf. And I think it's really, really pretty. Adds a little bit of whimsy in her home because it's not quite so dark and creepy. She does enjoy, you know, things on the lighter side. And then I added that plant right there, my favorite little vining plant from the Greenhouse Haven kit, and one more hanging plant above the dining table. That one's from Paranormal Stuff as well. And then I think what we do over here is I add a little light from Horse Ranch just above the inside door to add a little bit more something, and then also extending the roof pieces on this side because I thought it needed a little something extra. But here we are. Our sim is outside enjoying, I think she made franks and beans if I remember correctly, although it might be breakfast she's eating. But you'll see there's her garden back there with some plants already starting to grow. Everything is very lush and green, although it is fall in the game as of right now because that's just the season I was in anyway. And here she is harvesting her garlic. You got to keep the vampires away. We do not enjoy those guys. So I figured that was a good thing to have. And then she stretches a little bit because that's hard work. It's hard work being on your own. And here's her lovely little backyard setup. I think that it's so cool that she can just like hide out back here all on her own. We did have the welcome wagon attempt to visit while I was trying to take screenshots and get some footage, but it's okay. They quickly changed their minds. So, but here she is just enjoying her home. She's going to watch some TV, and I really hope you enjoyed this one. I'll pop up her information as well as the lot information if you would like to download it. Please be sure to like and subscribe and comment if there's anything else that you would like to see. I really enjoyed this one, so I hope you do too. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.